I want to welcome you to the October 9th meeting of the New Britain Common Council. It's time for public participation. It's now 7 p.m. I'd ask just the speakers to remember to state your name and address for the record. Speaking time limit is 3 minutes. I'll recognize the names on our list. And also, if anybody is calling in remotely or anybody else in the room that wants to be heard. The first name is Mr. Frank Chase.
Frank Chase, 24 Roxbury. We purchased 24 Roxbury Road in 1973 with a healthy dry basement and a flood-free property. Our property in our neighborhood is not the same today. Over the years, as responsible homeowners, we've made every effort to mitigate our flooding damage and losses. The compromised, outdated, and undersized storm sewer systems in the Allen Street Basin and in the Hampton-Eaton Basin were first identified 30 years ago by Director of Public Works Joe Corelli. These systems have been ignored, neglected, and mismanaged by elected and appointed city officials for decades. Over 50 properties are flooding in the surrounding neighborhoods, including the retention pond. 10 floods since July 4th, 2023. The unhealthy contaminated water contains bacteria, fecal matter, fats, motor oil, grease, etc. The cause is undeniable. The effects will be catastrophic if the flooding is allowed to continue. Weston Simpson engineers reported the state of the infrastructure is at crisis levels. Regardless of the age of our structures, needless wear and tear in and around our structures is accelerated by this out-of-control flooding water from our compromised storm sewer systems. The flooding is not an act of God. Our city officials are responsible for this neglect, mismanagement, and damage to our properties and structures. Director Moriarty has noted, we met with our consultant last week, and the date we are planning on holding the public outreach meeting is Thursday, November 14th. It will be a comprehensive overview of the project. Hopefully, we'll receive our requested updates. Director Perugini spoke regarding sudden fiscal surpluses, approximately $16 million. If our memory serves us, the city auditors were concerned about unused money sitting in various sub-accounts. We were told by city officials in no uncertain terms that the city had no money to spare for our storm sewer systems. Why was this money allowed to languish in these sub-accounts hidden from our constituents? Back in 2013, the current mayor was elected and had a $7 million Cardinal Engineering plan ready to go for the Allen Street project. Nothing happened. Now we have an updated $14 million plus Cardinal Engineering plan.
No, I didn't cut you off, Mr. Chase.
Well, I got the feeling you did, maybe. I don't know. Okay, now where was I? Director Perugini spoke regarding sudden fiscal surpluses, approximately $16 million. If our memory serves us, the city auditors were concerned about unused money sitting in various sub-accounts. We were told by city officials in no uncertain terms the city had no money to spare for our storm sewer systems. Why was this money allowed to languish in these sub-accounts hidden from our constituents? Back in 2013, the current mayor was elected and had a $7 million Cardinal Engineering plan ready to go for the Allen Street project. I'm going to keep going. Nothing happened. Now we have an updated $14 million plus Cardinal Engineering plan waiting for implementation. This updated plan cannot be lost in the fiscal shuffle again. 2 small paragraphs left. The Stuart Dorsey approved and confirmed bogus $4 million transfer for the Allen Street project never happened back in October 2023. This fake transfer was eventually rejected by Perugini. This administrative debacle prior to an election is concerning all of us to this day. City officials demand accountability, credibility, and transparency from their constituents. We do not receive the same courtesy from our city officials. No more gotcha moments, whataboutisms. It's time for all of us to look into the mirror and ask ourselves, is this who we want to be? It's not the time to throw up your hands. It's the time to step up and roll up your sleeves. Meanwhile, our neighborhoods will continue to flood. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chase. The second speaker is John Board.
Good evening, members of council. Hope everyone is doing well. I rise today to address the events of both October 7th as well as the significance of the High Holy Days for our Jewish neighbors. As we reflect on both of these sacred days, it's concerning that this council has not passed a resolution acknowledging either, nor that it's on your agenda for this evening. Historically, this body has set a precedent by engaging in foreign affairs both recently and in the past, and recognizing all holidays of all major Abrahamic religions. However, no such resolution is on tonight's agenda. The leadership of this council, in fact, does have draft resolutions in front of them for consideration, yet they have not been brought forward this evening. I urge you to act on these draft resolutions, pass two distinct resolutions acknowledging October 7th, honoring the one-year anniversary, as well as celebrating the High Holy Days, which is a set of holidays that is of the utmost importance in the Jewish religion. This will demonstrate the city's commitment to inclusivity, unity, and respect for all faiths. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Would you just state your address for the record?
Highland Terrace.
Third speaker is Paul Catanzaro.
Good evening. I'll probably go over a little bit, so. Paul Catanzaro, 250 Hillhurst Avenue. I hurt my sciatica tonight, and it's not doing good. But anyways.
I won't that statement take anything away from your time.
I'm here for, obviously, for resolution number 1. I love Indians. Indigenous people are fantastic. Why do you have to celebrate one by tearing another one down? I don't get it. Columbus Day is a very special day here in New Britain. Again, I will say this like I say at every meeting. Think about what you're here for, New Britain, not the state, not the country. Columbus Day meant a lot for the citizens of the city. And you probably, I'm sure a lot of you don't know, there was a parade every year for many, many years, Columbus Day parade. We had a carnival that was put on by the Colombian Federation. It was all to raise money for the veterans every year. We had a dance, we had a ball, all for the veterans, the Italian-American veterans here in New Britain. So Columbus Day was a very special day here, and it still is. It's not going to change in my book. They should have their own day, indigenous people, not a problem. I have no problem with that. But again, to take away Columbus Day because the school or the state or the federal, I don't care. This city wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the forefathers that were Italian descent. The contractors, the buildings, the schools, the hospital, the roads, and the leadership. Long, hard history of Italian Americans in the city of New Britain. This is a real slap in the face. Lastly, as my dear friend John Board said, what's this month besides 5,000 other things we're recognizing? Italian Heritage Month. How do you like that? Guess what's not on the agenda? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Catanzaro. No other names on the list, but is there anyone calling in? Okay. Good to go? Hello, please state your name and address, and you have 3 minutes. Caller, you can state your name and address and speak.
Hello?
Hello, please state your name and address, and you have 3 minutes.
My name is Shawnee Scott. I live at 340 High Street in New Britain, Connecticut. I am just calling in to say that I am in favor of the resolution for Indigenous People Day, but I do agree that there should be resolutions for the Jewish holidays that are coming and also for Italian American Heritage Month. New Britain is a diverse community and all should be recognized. I also wanted to question, I know the young man is getting into, there's a new young man in the position of the clerk position, and I'm trying to understand things that are happening, and I'm trying to get clarification on why the mayor would veto a position that's appointed by the town council. Maybe she can explain that to the residents when she gets a chance. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Alderman Russell. I recognize, would you like to speak? Please step up. Thanks for coming, and just name and address and speak.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. My name is Alan Horde. I live at 145 Columbus Boulevard, and I've been living in New Britain since 1997. I'm in agreement on the resolution for the Indigenous Peoples Day. I believe we would not have been here if it wasn't for the Indigenous people. They were here for us. Further to that, I'm also requesting a resolution to remove the name of the former mayor Timothy Stewart from the community room from the police department. I think that his statements of bigotry are not community minded. Having been a son of a New York City police officer, bigotry should not be posted in any station, any city in this United States. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Orr. Is there any member of the public who wishes to address the council? Any other member? Anyone else? Hearing none, public participation is closed. We take this occasion at 7:14. We take this occasion to invite any alderpersons to address anything they've heard.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Paul, we hear you loud and clear, and I just wanted to let you know that we are planning to have an Italian-American recognition resolution at the next meeting in October, and that was an oversight, so apologies, but it will be on the next October agenda. And John, you have sent me things in the past, and we can talk about what are some things that you would like to see on the agenda, because certainly we don't want to have any ethnic or religious group feeling left out by the council. That's not our intention. Mr. Chase, I happen to have communicated with State Representative Sanchez's office today, and I just want to let you know, in terms of the State Bonding Commission, that out of the year 2024, 9 of their meetings have been canceled. They've had 2 special meetings, and there are 2 meetings left on the docket for 2024, but if history is to repeat itself, they probably will get canceled as well. But right now, October 25th and December 6th our two scheduled meeting dates for the State Bond Commission. But as I said, 9 of their previously scheduled meetings in this calendar year have been canceled, with 2 special meetings that were held, one on June 7th and one on August 8th. So I am following that calendar and trying to stay on top of things, understanding how important it is for the Allen Street folks. Okay, so thank you.
Thank you. Other Alder people? Anybody else? Anybody? Alderman Scott?
Okay, hi. I just want to start off by saying peace and love to everybody tonight. So Frank, thank you so much for coming as usual. You keep the story going for the flooding, and we appreciate you. John, thank you so much for coming. I am heartbroken about October the 7th as well, and I'm glad that you came and brought it up. I know I think we've been trying our hardest to recognize everything, and getting some help from the community would be really appreciated. Like, you guys can contact me, 860-357-3119 if anybody wants something recognized, or just to help us remember to recognize things. We could really appreciate the help with that. To recognize the Jewish holidays, of course, every faith. I think everybody here knows that I want to celebrate everybody that lives here in our community. And Paul, thank you so much for coming as well. As our other alderwoman said, I was thinking the same idea, like we should actually really just do this for the next one if we can. You can feel free to call me too as well if there's anything that you think that we might be leaving out. I don't want to leave anybody out. That's not our intention at all. And of course, we want to celebrate the beautiful heritage of Italian people as well. And I also, the caller, thanks for calling in and supporting, recognizing everybody. And I want to welcome our new clerk, as she was calling in, recognizing him. And Alan, thank you for coming and speaking as well, and sharing about the Indigenous people, that we do want to recognize Indigenous people, and we want to celebrate everybody that lives here now. And we all live here together, and we need to have peace and love with each other. And also the community room, that we should really be looking at having people who represent our community on names of things here in our city. So thank you for pointing that out. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Alderman. I see nobody else with comments. Very good. I'm going to call this portion of the meeting over, and the regular meeting will begin shortly. At 7:18.
All right. Good evening, everybody. I would like to call this regular meeting of the New Britain Common Council to order. The date is October 9th, 2024. The time is 7:23 PM. Mr. Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Alderpersons McNamara. Here. Smedley. Present. Sanchez. Here. Beloin Saavedra. Here. Simpson.
Present.
Russell. Here. Barbosa. Here. Hargraves. Here. McAdam. Here. Gibson. Here. Scott.
Here.
Connors. Here. Malinowski. Here. Pabon. Here. Santiago. Present. Full house, Your Honor, all 15.
All right, thank you very much. Can we all please rise for the invocation, and will be followed by the pledge.
Let us pray. O God, our Heavenly Father, look down on our Italian, Polish, and Puerto Rican communities for whose month we celebrate. We pray for the victims of Hurricanes Helene and Milton. Give them a safe place to lay their heads, the food and supplies to sustain them, and the will to restart their lives. We ask this in thy name. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Alderman Santiago.
Thank you, Your Honor. I make a motion to accept and adopt mayor's veto notwithstanding item number 36615.
I have a second from Alderwoman Sanchez.
This pertains to the appointing of a town clerk, and I want to leave this in positive note, so I'm just going to say that.
Clerk of committee.
Clerk of
Clerk
committee,
of
not
committee.
that town clerk.
My bad. He looked at me.
Praising him.
Oh, no, sorry, Mom. Town of committees, sorry.
Yes.
And I'm going to leave it in a positive note and just welcome Shane Livingston to the position, and that's it.
Okay. Alderman Smedley.
Thank you, Your Honor. Through you to Mr. Livingston, sir, I also want to welcome you and congratulate you on your position. I want to say, before I say anything else, I need to say this is not about you or you being appointed to this position. This is solely about process, and I'm going to explain that right now. So our party intends to vote to uphold the mayor's veto this evening based on the fact that the majority party did not uphold the spirit of the charter or follow our city ordinances as they're listed. This position and appointment of this position is council business and should have just been a report that the council would have accepted during the beginning part of the meeting. As I said already, this veto has nothing to do with the fact has nothing to do with Mr. Livingston, and also has nothing to do with the fact that there was a debate about who got a resume and who didn't. We're upset that we didn't get a resume, and I'll say that publicly, and it was discussed and brought up at the meeting. We didn't know that there was one. I innocently did respond to Alderman Santiago, yes, okay, when he did tell me that the young man was being appointed, but I assumed that normal business would follow and a resume or documentation would have been submitted at the council with that appointment. And it unfortunately wasn't. It was just brought up by Alderwoman Scott that they reviewed the resume. We do intend to support this young man in this position, as we always have. This administration and this council has continued to appoint young people and young leaders into positions who become successful and grow their careers in our city. And we do intend to support that by pulling the next item off of the consent agenda. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Alderman Smedley. Any other person wish to comment on the item? Alderman Russell.
I would like to echo my colleague as well. I agree with the veto, because I feel we were not given the same respect as the other side was. So with that, this has nothing to do with the hiring of the gentleman. And with that, thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Any other alderperson wish to comment on the item? Seeing none, Mr. Clerk, so a vote for a yes vote is to override the veto, a no vote is to sustain the veto. A veto requires 10 votes to override.
Alderpersons McNamara.
Yes.
Smedley.
No.
Sanchez.
Yes.
Beloin Saavedra.
No.
Simpson.
Yes.
Russell. No. Barbosa.
Yes.
Hargraves.
No.
McAdam.
Yes.
Gibson.
No.
Scott.
Yes.
Connors.
Yes.
Malinowski. Pabon. Santiago.
Yes.
8-7, Your Honor.
Thank you. The veto is sustained. We'll move on to approval of the minutes. Alderman Santiago.
Thank you, Your Honor. I make a motion to accept the minutes of regular meeting of September 11th, 2024.
I have a second from Alderman Simpson. Any questions, comments? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. There are no amendments to the agenda, so we'll go into petitions. Mr. Clerk.
Yes, Your Honor. We have one from Alderpersons Beloin Saavedra and also signed by Alderman Simpson for the appropriate departments to conduct a traffic study and speed mitigation on Monroe Street from Corbin Avenue to Arch Street.
Thank you. We'll send that to the Police Commission.
That's it, Your Honor.
Thank you very much. We'll move on to the consent agenda this evening. Alderman Santiago.
Thank you, Your Honor. I make a motion to accept the consent agenda of A and C.
Do I have a second? I have a second from Alderman Malinowski. Any questions, comments on items A or C? Mr. Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Alderpersons McNamara. Yes. Smedley. Yes. Sanchez. Yes. Beloin Saavedra. Yes. Simpson.
Yes.
Russell. Yes. Barbosa. Yes. Hargraves. Yes. McAdam. Yes. Gibson. Yes. Scott.
Yes.
Connors. Yes. Malinowski. Yes. Pabon. Yes. Santiago.
Yes.
15-0.
Thank you. Motion carries. Item B, Alderwoman Beloin Saavedra.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'd like to make a motion to accept the report labeled Item B.
We have a second from Alderman Santiago.
Your Honor, we asked to have this removed from the consent because our caucus wanted to make it very clear that we support this young man in the position that he has already been sworn into, and we wanted to clearly make the distinction between the process and the person. So on behalf of the Rudd Caucus, I want to welcome Mr. Shane Livingston to the position of Clerk of Committees, and we look forward to working with him as per the charter in a nonpartisan way to further the business of the council through the committee process. So on behalf of the Rudd Caucus, welcome, Mr. Livingston, and I encourage everyone to accept the report. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments on item B? Alderwoman Scott.
I also want to welcome you, Shane, and congratulations, and I'm looking forward to working with you and helping out in any way that I can. I did want to mention, I know that we already passed a veto, I didn't get to stand up quick enough, but I just want to say that if ever you guys want information, feel free to ask us for it, just like the public, like anybody wants to see a resume or anything like that, feel free to ask. So, but congratulations, and I'm really happy to see you here. Thanks.
Any other questions or comments on this item? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Move into resolutions for this evening. The first resolution, Alderwoman Scott.
I make a motion to accept item number 1
Second from Alderman Santiago.
and adopt item number 1. Okay. So this resolution is for Indigenous Peoples Day. The City of New Britain to recognize the importance of honoring the history, the culture, and the contributions of Indigenous people, and to celebrate and recognize the significant contributions that Indigenous people have made and contribute to the rich culture, diversity in the city, state, and nation. We want to recognize Indigenous communities. They have long faced systemic injustice and erasure of their culture and history. So we need to be committed as a community with educating the public about this resilience, heritage, and vibrant traditions of Indigenous people. The Common Council of New Britain to hereby recognize the second Monday of October each year as Indigenous Peoples Day. I wanted to mention also the Blackfoot tribe, I hope I don't mess this up, Sisuka, that I was asked to put this resolution in for. They are here in New Britain, so I just wanted to give them a shout out. And also a tribe that my family is associated with, the Manaput Mattapinati tribe in Virginia. So let's recognize Indigenous Day, and I urge adoption.
Thank you. Any other person wish to comment on item number 1? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 2, Alderwoman Beloin Saavedra.
Thank you, Your Honor. I make a motion to accept and adopt item number 2.
Seconded by Alderman Santiago.
This is a resolution regarding the 79th anniversary of National Disability Employment Awareness Month, and we did have a nice celebration last Friday with the Commission on Persons with Disabilities honoring and celebrating various employers and employees who are doing the work. And I do want to commend City Hall also for working with the CLIMB program through the Board of Education that has the students, special education students, the 18 to 21-year-old group that come and provide a breakfast every Friday here at City Hall. So there are opportunities. My son was part of that program. And I also want to thank Whitson's because after my son graduated, he was hired by Whitson's to work at the high school, and this was pre-COVID, in the cafeteria. So I think City Hall and the Board of Education, the Commission, and the folks at large understand the value of people with varying abilities and disabilities within the community, whether it's a physical and mobility issue or whether it is some other type of challenge, such as autism or intellectual disabilities, that every person has value and everybody has something to contribute. And I'm just proud to live in a city where we do accept, honor, and value the varying contributions that our citizens can make. And I urge adoption.
Thank you, Alderwoman. Any other alderperson wish to comment on this item? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Alderwoman Scott, item number 3.
Thank you, Your Honor. I make a motion to accept and adopt item number 3.
Seconded by Alderman Hargraves.
Okay, this resolution is for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So excluding skin cancer, breast cancer is the most common cancer in women, and it's the second leading cause of cancer death in women. The chance of a woman having breast cancer is sometime during their life is 1 in 8. The chance of dying from breast cancer is about 1 in 36. Currently, there are 2 million women living in the United States who have been treated for breast cancer. Approximately 40,000 women will die from breast cancer this year. Men are also at risk of breast cancer, and it's not sure of what the cause of breast cancer is, but there are certain things that we can do to take some precautions and be aware of that over the age of 40, we should be getting mammograms. Women in their 20s and in their 30s should be clinically breast examined and going to their doctor regularly for health checkups. Studies show that prevention and early screening are very important with prevention. And the most common signs for breast cancer are large masses, lumps, pains, hardness, uneven edges is more likely to be cancer, but some cancers are tender, soft, and round. Therefore, it's most important for us to have regular checkups with our doctors. And also, like, I just want to mention that little thing that they give. A lot of us get these little free things that you can put in your shower. It's a great reminder to do a check every month. So I highly recommend that to everybody because I know I forget. So let's recognize Breast Cancer Month. It's very important to our city and our country and to everybody to take care of our health. So I urge adoption.
Thank you, Alderwoman. Any other alderperson wish to comment on this item? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Alderwoman McAdam, item number 4.
Thank you, Your Honor. I make a motion to accept and adopt item number 4.
I have a second from Alderman Santiago.
This is to recognize October as Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Domestic violence is a serious crime which is not bound to any one group of people but traverses all economic, racial, gender, educational, religious, and social barriers. It is sustained by indifferences, and in the United States, on average, 24 people per minute, and I'm going to say that again, 24 people per minute are victims of rape, physical violence, stalking by an intimate partner, which is more than 12 million men and women over the course of a year. The crime of domestic violence transgresses as an individual's privacy, dignity, security, and humanity due to the methodic use of physical, emotional, sexual, psychological, and economic control and/or abuse. Victims should have access to support services to help escape the cycle of abuse. It is a moral obligation to encourage domestic violence victims and their families to seek assistance from appropriate victim services organizations such as the Prudence Crandall Center, Inc. And now therefore be it resolved that the Common Council of the City of New Britain and Mayor Aaron Stewart recognize October as Domestic Violence Awareness Month and urge all citizens to work together to promote justice, provide safety, and prevent harm from all. And I urge adoption.
Thank you, Alderwoman McAdam. Any other alderperson like to comment on this item? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Alderman Hargraves, item number 5.
Thank you, Your Honor. I make a motion to accept and adopt resolution number 5.
Seconded by Alderman Smedley.
So this is for the Every Kid Counts after-school program. This will provide after-school program at 6 elementary schools, including Chamberlain, Gaffney, Jefferson, North End, Smith, and Smalley School. It's a total of $338,000, and it's given through 2 grants from the State of Connecticut Department of Education for a total amount of, actually, I just said $338,800. I say this every time, but I worked for the after-school programs for about 12 years. It's a great programs that allow our parents to work and not worry about what their kids are doing after school, and they're free. And not only do they give recreation, but they help with homework, they give food. They even give dinner now. They even give dinner back when I was there. So they're providing a lot for these kids after school from those most vulnerable hours between 3 and 6 p.m. So it's very important, and we're glad from the state of Connecticut to assist our after-school programs here in the city, and I urge adoption.
Thank you, Alderman Hargraves. Any other questions or comments on resolution number 5? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Alderwoman Sanchez, item number 6, a very exciting resolution.
Thank you, Your Honor. Make a motion to accept item number 6.
I have a second from Alderman Hargraves.
And refer to the Committee on Administration, Finance and Law and Public Services. This resolution is for...
Wait, may I ask a question? Why refer? It's just going to delay the construction.
I got his. It was refer. Did they write it? Cisco, did they write it wrong?
No, it's referred. I'll withdraw my second.
Okay.
Second.
We have a withdrawal. So the motion is to refer to committee. Again, just so everyone understands, this is going to delay the construction and may end up costing more because of that if construction is delayed. I want everyone to understand that. Second by Alderman Santiago.
Can I read the resolution?
Call a question, Your Honor?
You can't, the motion is, so we have the maker of the motion. Make the motion that you'd like to make, and then we can discuss.
So I have to do it again, or no?
Yes.
I make a motion to accept item number 6 and refer to the Committee on Administration, Finance and Law and Public Services.
Okay. And the second is from Alderman Santiago. Okay, the floor is yours, Alderwoman.
Thank you. This resolution is for public bid number 4144, John Downey Drive Corridor, excuse me, improvements for the Public Works Department, and it reads as follows. Whereas public bid number 4144 was solicited and received in accordance with the purchasing ordinance of the City of New Britain for the John Downey Drive corridor improvements, and whereas funding is available for the John Downey Drive corridor improvement in the Public Works Department, and account number 25531-5043-5454, LOT CIP L088-004, John Downey Drive Corridor and Construction Contracts, and whereas invitations to bid were solicited and the bid was duly advertised in the New Britain Herald newspaper, the City and State of Connecticut's Department of Administration Services websites. Whereas responses were received as per attached, and whereas the bids were reviewed for conformance to specifications by the Public Works Department's administration and the purchasing agent. And whereas the Director of Public Works Department is therefore recommending the bid be awarded to Martin Laviero Contractor of Bristol, Connecticut for the John Downey Drive Corridor improvement and met all of the bid specifications. And now therefore be resolved that the purchasing agent is to be authorized to issue a purchase order for $5,386,083.50 and enter into a contract with Martin Laviero Contractor of Bristol, Connecticut for the John Downey Drive Corridor improvement, and I urge adoption. I urge the referral.
Thank you,
Your Honor.
Alderwoman Sanchez. All right, a lot of hands. Alderwoman Belen Saavedra.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'm confused by the referral, and I was planning on having Mark Moriarty come up and talk about this project. I don't understand that if everything that comes through here that has some money associated with it does not need to be referred to committee. And it seems like there's been a pattern of constant referrals and/or tabling motions that is slowing up the work of City Hall and city government. Mark, would you please come to the podium, because whether it gets referred or not, I'm going to have you answer all the questions that they will ask you in committee, but I think we could have just asked you this evening and moved on with the business. Can you please, the long-awaited John Downey project, can you please give a brief description of the project, and then I'd like you to talk about the funding sources that we received for this project.
Sure. The project, basically, it's a road, it's essentially a street level improvement project. It narrows John Downey Drive from 48 feet to 32 feet. Puts in brand new sidewalks that pulls them off of the gutter line, which is important because with the sidewalks being right at the curb line, when there's snowstorms, all the snow ends up on the sidewalks, so it's very hard to walk. We put trees along the length. There's a multi-use trail along the entire length of John Downey Drive. It's just, its access control also just makes it a lot safer for pedestrians, vehicles. The narrowing of the road is gonna help calm vehicle speeds. It's a really nice betterment project. It's long overdue. It's been a priority project for a while. We got lots of funding for that project through CROG. We are very fortunate with this bid. We did the design of this project in-house. It was a big project to take on, saved a lot of money doing that. Our estimates were at $6.4 million. We were very fortunate. We got a lot of bids in for this project. The cost estimate, or the construction estimate, or not estimate, bid came in just under $5.4 million. So it's about $1 million under bid, which is very happy about that result. The contractor that won, we were very fortunate that Martin Laviero and with Jerry Dion being the project manager, won this. It's a competitive bid. You don't know what the numbers are going to come on, but Jerry's been the contractor and our superintendent that did everything from the Beehive Bridge to most of the streetscape phases. We trust the guy implicitly. We love the guy. He's been great to us. He's been great to work with. We're very fortunate that we had them come in low. It's a bid situation, so you never know who's going to come in low, but we're lucky that they were the ones that did.
So, through you, Your Honor, the LOTSIP money, do you know how much of it came from LOTSIP, which would be from CROG?
The lots of money will completely cover the construction cost, 100%.
Okay, because it also says the Public Works account number, but so is there any local coming
I
out?
mean, that we are, with the LOTSA program, we are responsible for funding the design costs for the project, and we did that in-house, so we averted a lot of costs by doing the design in-house.
So again, through your honor, so all the construction, let's say we adopted this tonight, all the money, the design is ready to go, we have the contractor ready to do the work, and the funding's in place, it is not coming from the local tax base.
It is not.
That's correct. And this, I'll remind that Alderman Simpson serves with me on the Vision Zero task force. Alderwoman Sanchez has come to several of those meetings as well, and that this project fits very nicely into the goals and objectives of the Vision Zero task force that we sit on, that we talk about this very topic and how we go out and grab dollars to do these type of projects. This is exactly what we are talking about on Vision Zero, exactly. Finding funding sources to do this kind of work on main thoroughfares, which John Downey Drive is, as a hub of business in the city of New Britain. This is an invaluable project, definitely very important to Ward 2. I'm sure Alderman Hargraves would have things to say about this. I 100% support this program, but if the motion remains a referral, I am voting no. It is absolutely a waste of time when any and all questions that the majority party might have on this could be answered with Mr. Moriarty at the podium this evening. No gamesmanship. Everything doesn't have to go to committee. This is a non-controversial item. We all agree on John Downey Drive. We are all pleased with the funding source, and it fits right into the multitude of petitions that have come from the majority party through this council this year about speeding issues, traffic issues, the needs to slow down traffic and improve the safety of our streets, all of which is accomplished by this program. I'm shocked that there is a referral on the table. I am a yes if we could get the business done this evening. I am a no on the referral, and I ask my fellow RUD members to support a no vote on the referral because it's absolutely an unnecessary step. Thank you, Your Honor.
Alderman Simpson?
Thank you, Your Honor. Sorry to steal the thunder from Alderwoman Scott, but I would like to call for a motion, or a recess, my apologies.
Do you have a second on that? All those in favor of a recess signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? We'll recess. The time is 7:50.
Don't take medication.
Like obstructionist? Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. All right, we are all back and we are officially returned from recess. No problem, the time is 8:09, Mr. Clerk. And we have returned. And I understand that there are some questions. I know Mr. Moriarty was here, and I'd like to turn the floor back over to Alderwoman Sanchez.
Thank you, Your Honor. I would like to change my motion from referral to adopt item number 6.
So we have a withdrawal of the original motion from Alderwoman Sanchez.
Which I'll second.
And Alderman Santiago will withdraw his second, and she's going to restate the motion to accept and adopt, and
Item number 6.
and Alderman Santiago will second that as well. So we have a restatement on the floor, and I will turn the floor back over to you, Alderwoman. If you have any questions for Mr. Moriarty or questions in general, open it up for that.
Alderman Santiago has some questions.
Alderman McNamara.
Oh, my God.
Good evening, Mark. Thank you, Your Honor.
Evening.
I did note in our capital improvement program for this fiscal year, there's under the John Downey project, there's $1 million, and then in the out years, there is, I think, a larger amount, additional amounts. So could you unpack the source of the non-LoCIP money?
When we were in design on this project, we were concerned that the amount of the project was going to exceed the amount of lots of funding that we had for the project, and that didn't end up happening. So if that did end up happening, we were going to have to use some bond money that was already in place for the project. We were pretty close to our funding amount, but you just don't know where bids are going to come in. We did have bids that came in higher than the amount of lots of money that we have. Most of the bids did come in within the range of what we have, and we were very fortunate that the project came in at under 5.4 million, which is well under our lots of allotment. So in the CIP book, the project is spread over 2 years. That's probably why there's like one amount of money in 1 year and then a larger amount of money in the second year, because the expectation was that I think we would be doing a fair amount of work this fall, and then the majority of the work would happen next year. So more spending would happen next year.
Yeah, I noticed the bids came in as high as $7.5 million.
Yeah.
And the Laverio, can you speak to projects Laverio has been involved in the city, and just a little brief past history?
Yeah, they've literally done every phase. They've won by a public bid every phase of downtown streetscape work except for phase 4, where the roundabout is on Columbus Boulevard. And you know, it's funny, somebody mentioned to me very recently, that's the only phase that you actually see grass growing through some of the brickwork. So they've been a very good partner. I mean, I think that they enjoy working here, and they bid very aggressively. They know that we're pretty reasonable to work with, and we have a good working relationship. I think Jerry actually deferred retirement two times now, because honestly, he likes doing work in New Britain. They've done very good work. They don't hit us with a lot of change orders. We're confident. I mean, a lot of contractors we've done work with, we feel we have to watch them. We don't know what they're going to do when we don't have an inspector on site. We always have an inspector on site, but we know that we can trust them to do good work. And it's like, that's not a relationship you have with that many contractors, honestly. I mean, there's a number of contractors that are on that bid list that submitted higher bids, that if they won, we would accept the bid, but we would know that we really have to be on our A game to make sure they complete their project well. We know we don't have that risk at all with Martin Lorero.
And just two brief things through you, Your Honor. What's the timetable for this? How long is the project supposed to be?
I know, talking to Jerry today, he is hoping to, because once you get the curbing, it is a fairly simple project. It's just a very long project, and it's two sides of the road. I know he's hoping to be able to get this entire project done next year. It's pretty aggressive just because it's the full length of John Downey Drive. You need to do both sides of the road. It's a lot of work. Some of it is, weather dependent. But, it is a 2-year project based on size, not really a full 2-year project, but it was a project that would go beyond one construction season if you do need a full winter shutdown. Hoping to get it done sooner than that.
Yeah, and my questions wouldn't be complete unless I asked about the stormwater sewer main. There's no work on this. We had I think a claim at the last Claims Committee meeting involving John Downey Drive, actually. This is just sidewalk surface pavement.
This is surface work. As far as drainage, it's a whole separate issue, but if there's issues, let's say, the entire sewer system of the entire city goes under John Downey Drive. So all of the work that we're doing around the city, the I&I work, the New Britain flush work, so you have to do work, and you can't just fix that issue particularly on John Downey Drive. You have to stop the clean water from getting in the sewer system around the entire city to impact a reduction on the sanitary sewers that run under John Downey Drive. So there isn't a flooding issue associated with the road. There are some flooding from the brook that's behind some of the properties. That has nothing to do with the road work. There was no need for us to do major underground stormwater improvements on John Downey Drive. The issues that were really there were more surface related.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Any other questions? Alderman Hargraves.
Thank you, Your Honor. And thank you for that clarification, Mr. Moriarty, especially regarding the capital improvement plan, the surface water areas. That's some things that can be addressed with a phone call or an email. Sometimes we got to use our resources and reach out to the department heads and get these answers instead of prolonging some of these situations that we have here. Now, when we're talking about John Downey Drive, this has been in the process for years, literally. There's a public hearing on it back in John Downey Drive, I want to say about 2 years ago. There are some issues that some of the business owners presented about some of the trucks that they have on their roads. Public Works went back in-house and redesigned it to make sure that those issues were resolved. Let's not forget the amount of businesses that are on John Downey Drive and the amount of taxes they pay. So they deserve to have a road that's well-constructed, that's smooth, and that they can be able to run their cars and their trucks through. We shouldn't be isolating certain areas and saying that we need to delay things in certain parts of the town. Just because it's on near the Newington line, it's not the center of town, it's not my neighborhood. Well, guess what? It's my neighborhood. I drive on that road, and I get complaints all the time about that road, and I have to respond saying, listen, there's a plan, and it's going to happen soon. And I was so excited to see that's on this agenda, finally. Finally, the bids came in, and it's on the agenda, and I'm surprised to see they want to delay it another month by going to committee. I'm glad that the motion has been changed, but I just wanted to put on the record that sometimes conversations help. Sometimes reaching out to people help. And we got to have these conversations in order to be a functioning government. In order to be a functioning legislative body, we got to be able to talk and communicate with each other and with the administration. So I'm glad that the motion has been changed, and I'm in full support of this resolution here, and I hope that the construction can start as soon as possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Hargraves. Any other alderperson wish to comment? Go around though. Alderwoman Scott.
I just want to say that I'm not against this project. I just would have liked to have had more information. I think a special meeting would have been nice to see, like a presentation on it. I think since we had so many complaints about not seeing a resume, I mean, this is a lot of money. This is our city, and I just want to make sure I'm doing the biggest diligence that I can for the people that live here. But I am not against this project. I think that improving our roads is extremely important. So thank you, Mark, for the work that you do.
Any other alderperson? Alderwoman Beloin Saavedra.
Mr. Moriarty, if the public's interested in seeing the design work, is it up on the web page, or I had some residents ask me how they could see the design work for John Downey Drive.
I mean, the bid documents we don't have anything on like a display of the design. We have had 2 public information meetings. The last one, we actually had at Alvarium in the hopes that we get a lot of property owners. And we did have a lot of meetings with the business owners on John Downey. We needed some rights for them. We actually, I'll tell you, the biggest complication of this project was that John Downey Drive, and it's something that you wouldn't expect necessarily, but so many of the properties, the tractor trailer trucks have to back into the road. That's something that going into the project, we didn't necessarily realize how many we had to accommodate backing in of large tractor trailer trucks. So that's something that once we initially met with the property owners, we did make the road a little bit wider. And we went back to them, we met with them, we had individual meetings, and we actually got a tractor trailer truck out on a Saturday. And on some of the more concerned property owners and also some of the trickier driveways, we actually had the truck back in with the owner there to make sure that their concerns were handled and they felt comfortable that the design, when constructed, and honestly, we felt comfortable too, because it was good to make sure that the design was going to accomplish what it needed to. We don't want to impact somebody's ability to do business. We want to purely improve the road and make it function better for them, so.
No, I appreciate that.
I'll just, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but there's no, for this project, there's no like fancy renderings or pictures or anything. I think we may have like one or two.
Yeah, 1 or 2.
Renderings. It is, it's architectural designs that we have. I mean, if you, I'll find an image of just like
I could share what we have. I mean, we have a couple like street view renderings that.
Sure, or even a description of the project, just,
Yep.
It helps build excitement. But I just want to say that, again, not everything that comes here that has a price tag on it needs to be referred to committee, that a lot of the discussions that happen in committee should be discussions on major changes that maybe we have disagreements on or big questions on, but bringing directors to the podium at a council meeting is the point of the council agenda. What is the point of an agenda if everything on it is going to be referred to committee? Committees have very specific functions, but not everything on this agenda or on any agenda needs to go through the referral process. So if people were under the misunderstanding that if there's a price tag associated with something, it has to go through the committee process, it does not. And I do want to echo what my colleague, Alderman Hargrave, said about picking up the phone, sending an email, reaching out and asking questions. This project has been on the books for a very long time, so if newly elected alder people don't know about the project or want more information, that doesn't mean it has to go to the committee process. It can just be a direct communication from that alder person to the director to ask specific questions. What we don't want is to stop or prolong important business of the city and also clog up the committee process. We have a lot of items. I was looking at PZ&H. There's a lot of items going to committee that make committee meetings extremely long. And really the work of the council is at council meetings so the public could really be informed and see what's going on. So I'm glad that the motion was changed. I'm glad that for the folks along John Downey Drive, there will be no stalling, and I'm happy for the aldermen who are on this council from Ward 2 so that they could go back to their constituents and let them know that this project is not delayed and it is moving forward. Thank you very much, Your Honor, and Mr. Moriarty.
Any other alder person wish to comment? Alderman Pabon.
If we delay this project,
There you go.
if we delay this project, will the cost go up? And
I mean, the biggest concern with this project is with the granite curbing. So granite curbing for the last phase that we did, Phase 8, did delay that project because it was a long lead item. It was very difficult to get in, and the costs were going up. Talking to Jerry Dion today. I mean, he was very anxious for us to get the project passed, get under contract, so we can get the order in for granite curb, because it's such a long lead item and it's hard to get. So there's not as many suppliers. So that was the big, if coming in here today, like even more so than most projects, because there's so much granite curb on this project, you know, I was excited to get that back to him, get him under contract so he can get that order in and lock the pricing that he had from his bid.
How about the weather-wise? We got to beat the weather before
Yeah,
it gets...
I mean, I think, if we, the biggest section is going to start next spring. I mean, there was a chance he could get some work done in, but literally the most important thing that was crucial to the overall schedule of the project was getting Jerry under contract, getting his subs under contract to lock them in for the project. But then absolutely the most important was just to lock in the order of the granite curbing.
All right, thank you, sir.
Any other questions? Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Mark. Alderman Connors, item number 7.
Good evening, Your Honor. I make a motion to accept and refer item number 7 to Planning, Zoning, and Housing.
Second.
I have a second from Alderman Santiago.
Thank you. This resolution provides for a contract for public bid 4180 involving purchasing and installing on-street parking upgrades, including meters and kiosks. Funding is available for these services within the Facilities and Energy Department's account for park administration, and the bid process followed city procedures, advertising, and direct outreach to parking companies. After evaluating the bids, project plans and pricing, Palm Inc. was chosen for their competitive offers, given the nature of the changes and the items being discussed. I would urge referral to PZNH. Thank you.
Thanks, Alderman Connors. Any questions or comments? Alderwoman Bloin Saavedra.
I see that both 7 and 8 are being referred. Can I ask the majority party why the referral?
Alderman Connors.
For discussion under regular order, you know, to differentiate from the prior resolution, there's no material costs, to my knowledge, involved in this. It's a much more suitable subject for a committee process, and I wouldn't see any harm to the city in allowing a little bit more deliberation for this one, notwithstanding all of the valid points regarding outreach.
Alderwoman.
Can Mr. Degadillo please come to the podium? John, if I messed up your last name, I'm sorry. I struggle. Can you just talk about number 7 a little bit, about the project?
Yes, no problem. So number 7 is just the parking meters and kiosks. We have a lot of old, outdated kiosks out there. Keypads are broken, communication issues, stuff like that. What happened is these kiosks, when we bought them, they're 3G cellular. 3G has then since been sunset, so it's no longer existent. What happens is you need to buy a new modem, or really a new kiosk, really, to kind of get to the new cutting edge technology of where we are. So this bid was to accomplish that with the kiosk portion, as well as parking meters. Parking meters get hit in traffic. There's times where you gotta, during construction, we've taken them down, moved them over, et cetera, et cetera. So it's really just to address the existing parking spaces. There's no additional areas that we plan on metering or anything like that. This is just to replace what's either broken, outdated, or happens to, come through for the next couple of years. So I like to lock in these prices now. I did this previously a few years ago. Same thing happened. They tried to mark the price up. I said, no, we're in contract. That's your set price. So we're going to move forward with this. Every company there is a reputable company. They work throughout the state and throughout the country. Again, they provided the most competitive pricing. So that's why I went forward with these options.
So through you, Your Honor, I'm going to start voting no on every referral that goes to committee that doesn't have a legitimate reason for going to committee. This, although it's not anything earth-shattering and time-sensitive, there is no legitimate reason for this or the next one to go to committee. Any questions that anybody has right now could ask you right now, and we could resolve this currently. So I am not against either 7 or 8, but I am against what I will now consider obstructionist behavior in terms of constantly sending things to committee. So I will be voting no, not because I don't think you should have these things, but because I don't think they should be referred to committee. Thank you.
Thank you. Through you.
Any other questions for Mr. Delgadillo while he's here? Alderman Simpson.
Forgive me, I don't know if this is a question for Mr. Delgadillo, but I have just a question for the room. Why is this being referred to PZ and H? This is not a planning, zoning, nor housing item.
Point, if I may.
Alderman McNamara.
I believe this is in the purview of support services, which is your department. Is that correct, Mrs. Delgadillo? The parking system?
Yes, correct.
This is a public service, correct? So I would request that the maker of the motion amend this to, if it's going to be a referral, refer it to admin, finance, law, and public services. Thank you.
Does Corp Counsel want to weigh in? Or it could be either one, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Okay.
Your Honor, if I might.
Alderman McNamara.
John, so this is a new way of doing business with our parking system to replace what I hear you saying is outmoded system now for parking and kiosks. Is that true?
I think you might have both resolutions a little mistaken, Alderman. I don't know about new way of business. We're just replacing parking meters here. So we're replacing existing machines. What do you mean by new way of business?
The other resolution doesn't clearly state the cost involved. I think it has a per unit cost as well. I think this is a matter that definitely needs more review by the council so we can comfortably move ahead with it. And again, I do urge referral on this item and also number 8.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Alderwoman Scott.
Yeah, I just want to, again, thank you for coming, but I just want to make a statement that, again, like, I think it's fine for us. I believe that we should be slowing some things down and just making sure that we're doing our diligence, making sure we're doing what the people want and what they need for the city. So that's what I'm here for the people. So we need to make sure we're doing the right things. So I urge for this to be referred.
Okay. Just want to reiterate, it's literally just purchasing the same meters, just replacing them with different technology.
Your Honor, may I?
Alderman Russell.
If we got broken meters out there, are we losing money? Are we losing money if we have broken meters out there?
Yes, we have multiple areas where we currently don't have functional meters, so we can't properly enforce those areas. So, you know, people do park there, they know where they're broken, and they'll park there over and over again and not have to pay, and we can't enforce it. So, yes, it is definitely a revenue loss for the city.
So the sooner the better, correct?
That is correct, Alderman.
Thank you.
Alderman Smedley.
You know, we are also for the people, Alderwoman. We stand here and come to every meeting, and I've been here for 12 years for the people. I've worked in the city for over 20 years for the people. I've grown up in the city for the people. I've bought a home in the city for the people. At some point, you have to realize there's a method of doing business and doing business for the people so that they can thrive downtown and that we can have revenues generated to lessen the tax burden on our taxpayers. Has to happen, and the people. I don't understand some of your logic, and I want to echo what you said to us, respectfully, through you, Mayor. Call and ask us. You have not once reached out to me to ask for information on any of this, and I am so heavily involved in all technology and processes in this city. So at some point, the public has to recognize that what happened here tonight earlier with having to restate the motion for the previous resolution is because there is no knowledge, no education, and no attempt to do any outreach by the other party for what is actually happening in our city.
Alderman Simpson.
Thank you. I will once again state that this item should not go to planning, zoning, and housing. And with that, I'd like to make a motion to have a recess again. And I'm sorry for having to, but here we are.
I have a second by Alderwoman Barbosa. All those in favor of a recess signify by saying aye. Aye. Anybody opposed?
No.
For the record, but motion carries. We're in recess. The time is 8:33 p.m. We are back from recess. The time is 8:38 PM, and Alderman Simpson has the floor.
Thank you, Your Honor. I was shown language that does specify that support services, for some reason, is a part of the PZ&H committee. So I suppose a referral to this committee is understandable, but I don't get the impetus behind it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Alderman Simpson. Alderwoman Beloin Saavedra.
I'd like a roll call on this, please, Your Honor.
If there's no further, we'll have.
I'm moving
Thank
the
you.
question.
Move the question is not debatable. And all those in favor of moving the question, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We'll move the question. Mr. Clerk will call the roll on it. The motion on the floor is to refer to PZ&H.
Point of clarification, if this motion fails, is it?
There were no questions. I didn't
Point
get a
of
question
clarif-
answered the last time when I tried, when this was roll call. This is.
Mr. Clerk?
Okay. So this is for number 7. Alderpersons McNamara,
Yes.
Smedley,
No.
Sanchez,
Yes.
Beloin Saavedra,
No.
Simpson,
Yes.
Russell. Barbosa.
Yes.
Hargraves.
No.
McAdam. Gibson. Scott.
Yes.
Connors.
Yes.
Malinowski. Pabon. Stantiago. 8-7.
Motion carries to refer to PZ&H. Item 8, Alderman Connors.
Thank you, Your Honor. I make a motion to accept and refer item number 8 to PZ&H.
Second from Alderwoman Sanchez.
Thank you. This resolution provides for contract, again, for bid 4180, covering purchase and installation of on-street parking upgrades, this time for parking management and pay-by-cell services. Funding provided again through Facilities and Energy Department's budget. This went through the city's bidding process. The Parking Commission reviewed and approved the recommendation. Given the technology involved and the different systems going on, there are questions still to be asked from my caucus, and they wanted to invite the community to participate in the committee process, even though, there is information in here such as my Pay to Park will provide pay-by-cell services for 3 years with extension options. There's convenience fees per transaction and credits back to the city. And again, notwithstanding offers for communication, there are questions, and some of my colleagues would like to invite community members to speak at committee. So for these reasons, I would urge referral respectively. Thank you.
Your Honor.
Alderwoman Beloin Saavedra.
John, can you briefly describe the resolution? And most importantly, is this a brand-new program, or is this an existing program?
It is an existing, through you, Your Honor. It is an existing program. City currently utilizes NetTech Solutions for our parking management system. They handle all of our ticketing management devices, ticketing, appeal process, everything online for convenience for city residents or anybody that actually gets a parking ticket. But no, this is an existing system. They came in with the most aggressive price point, and it's the existing price point that they bid us a few months ago. They made it very clear to us that, clearly the rates have gone up because of costs have gone up, but they like this city. They're local and to the state of Connecticut. They understand, they want to continue the business here in the city, so they actually kept their same, honor their same price, even though they're definitely well beyond that for other municipalities and other businesses they have to provide these services for. Again, just to be competitive and to keep in the market here for the city. Nothing changes. It's actually going to be a benefit to us because they're looking to do some stuff because we're already in here, and they don't have to rebuild the system for us because they just exist. They're going to streamline a lot of processes for us, a lot of changes, things that we typically they wouldn't offer to another client, but they're willing to do that for us because they already exist here, so they don't have that installation costs and upgrades that they need to do for a new client. So they're actually looking out for us and going to do some great things for the parking office and our department and the city residents as well, to make it a lot smoother for them to park here in the city.
So through you, Your Honor. So you said nothing changes, so there's nothing really changing with this?
Nothing that your average user, and no price changes for the city.
For the
nothing-
people?
For the people, it's just an improvement of services. They're actually going to include a text-to-park option, even in the previous systems. In the last resolution I spoke about, those parking meters actually have a lot more benefits too, where they're going to have a lot easier transition to park, text-to-park, with some of those kiosks and stuff like that, so that they're going to willing to provide that throughout the city. So you don't have to worry about, chasing down a meter, chasing down a kiosk or
I'm
stuff.
sorry to interrupt you, but how are the people going to understand this very complicated process?
Everybody has to park everywhere, Alderwoman. Everybody uses these processes throughout. The city actually here, I think, does a lot better, does a lot more for their residents than others. Hartford started ripping out everything and making everybody pay with their phone, which I think we're an old school industrial town, and I've been very adamant about having parking meters and having them accept coin. Even these kiosks that I promoted in the last resolution, they typically don't do coin. I wanted to make sure they did coin because there are people here that don't want to use their phone to pay with a credit card. They want to use coin. So I made sure that was in there.
So there are options, so people could pay with coin, people could pay on their phone. This isn't a new process then, so how long have people been here in New Britain able to use this process, using their phone to pay?
This is 4 or 5 years plus.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sure 4 or 5
So
years.
nothing in this
No.
resolution, we're not instituting a new program where we have to go out and do new heightened education for the public on this program.
No, just more convenience factor is the only thing that's going to change. The contract with the existing vendor expired. We extended, it expired, and we just have to go back out to bid, so that's why I did all this at this time.
So an expiring contract, you went back out to bid, so this went out to bid. Prices on our consumers are not changing. The process isn't changing.
That is
Okay.
correct.
And the money, I'm sorry, is it coming out of the general fund budget?
Yes, it comes out of my parking administration.
I'm sorry, the general fund budget that the council, comes through the council, and that we all see the line items that go into the budget, that budget is what's paying for this?
That is correct. Yeah, actually,
No hidden money anywhere, money's not coming from anywhere else other than the budget that exists that came before the council?
no, this parking management system does not. It's all existing funds that I actually have to take time and make sure that I properly budget this and present it to everybody here so that I'm on budget for everybody and for the town, for the city.
Has anyone reached out to you from the council on their confusion or concern that the public couldn't handle or understand this online system?
No.
No, okay. For all those reasons, Your Honor, I will be voting no on the referral. Thank you very much.
Any other alderperson comments? Okay, all those in favor of the,
I'm sorry, roll call.
Mr. Clerk?
Alderpersons McNamara,
Yes for referral.
Smedley,
No.
Sanchez,
Yes.
Beloin Saavedra,
No.
Simpson. Russell. Barbosa.
Yes.
Hargraves.
No.
McAdam. Gibson.
No.
Scott.
Yes.
Connors.
Yes.
Malinowski. Pabon.
No.
Santiago.
Yes.
8-7, Your Honor.
Motion carries.
Motion to adjourn.
Made by Alderman Santiago, seconded by Alderman Simpson. All those in favor, say aye. We're adjourned. The time is 8:46 PM. Thank you, everyone, for your patience.